You have to kind of really lean into the assessment part of your personality. Who are you really? Like before you put the lawyer hat or any other hats on, who are you, right? And find that common thread.
Kristyan Gilmore, thank you so much for joining the You Are a Lawyer podcast. It's great to see you again.
Yes, I'm happy to be here, Kyla. Thank you for asking me again.
I recorded with Kristyan last summer. We recorded on Juneteenth, and the episode was supposed to come out in January. And I was working on it, and you had so many good things that you were saying, and I just could not make it work. So we are back. And I'm so excited because that was a long time ago. What
It
has been
was.
happening since June
Oh my
2025?
gosh. Well, my daughter's gonna be 4 soon, so that's a big one because she's starting to be like a big girl. And I know you have a small child too, so you understand that is what I'm most focused on right now. And I love it because my work has gotten to a place where it's manageable and I'm able to prioritize her. So that's the best thing about all of this, which I love talking about how I got here. So I'm glad that you have me, in this position to share with people, a little bit. I hope can be helpful.
Yes. So the last time we chatted, we ended talking about our children because I was telling you about how I regulated my nervous system accidentally. My daughter
Mhm.
is 5 years old. She'll be six in June 2026. And in December 2024, I just started to wake up like an hour before she would wake up and my husband would get up, and I would just get a glass of water, stare out the window, and I didn't know it, but I was kind of meditating at the time. I was just like having time for myself. What do you want to do today? What are you thinking about? What's stressing you out? And I would just deal with it. And then the next thing you knew, people were up and in your face and they want stuff, and you're not overwhelmed because you've already had time to yourself. And it was
Yes.
beautiful. So,
Right. I took your advice. It has
yay.
really made a difference. I've been getting actually 2 hours before my family's up. So it has really made a difference. I thank you for giving me that little anecdote. Yes.
It's important. I mean, you can like grab little moments during the day, but to have all that designated time to yourself in the morning is like invaluable. It's amazing.
I'm learning a lot, to be more patient. I have to give myself and her that extra time so we're not rushed.
I know. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Kristyan, I love this background. You're calling yourself an artist now. You were an artist, but
I
now,
am. No, we owning it because that's the new good news. I don't know if you want to start with that or whatever, but I got my dream job since the last time I talked to you.
yes, let's start with that.
So I'm now, assistant professor at SUNY Purchase, which is right, it's in the New York City metro area, but it's historically an art institution. Like we have very well staffed and well recognized conservatories for dance, jazz, orchestra on campus. And so they brought me in because they now have like an art justice program well, it's been there, but they didn't have a champion for the cause. So they hired me to use art as a tool for restorative justice. So we have contracts, and we're making films and we're doing theater art and just trying to infuse and cultivate justice and mercy in people, hopefully to combat some of what's happening, politically and stuff right now. So it's awesome. I still
Yeah.
have a small practice that I like too. So I mean, it's all good right now. Yeah.
Yeah. You said that you're a professor in residence. What does that mean besides that they give you housing? But are you teaching one class? Are you teaching a full
Yes.
schedule? What does it mean?
Okay, so I have a full schedule just as a professor, right, as an assistant professor. But in addition, in exchange for the housing, I have a group of students that I kind of mentor. Their first year, they take one semester with me, and then I kind of lead them through to graduation. So they have like some babies, about 25 of them. It's a hold, and it's great. I love it.
Yeah.
They're great.
Okay.
They're all creative theater performers, opera singers, jazz musicians, everything. I indoctrinated them with this pursuit of justice. So now they are committed to helping me with what I'm working on. So it's great.
I love that. I love all of it. So, how did you find this role? Was it just a post, or did someone say, "Hey, I saw this and you might be interested"?
I've been teaching for a long time, part time and stuff, and sometimes full time. I go back and forth. But during the pandemic, I started teaching for this school because they didn't have a lot of professors who could teach online and had knack for technology that they needed. So I've been teaching part-time for them online for about 5 years. And then they said, she told me when she brought me in, she was going to create a position for me, and she did. And people, people sometimes keep their word. I have a great boss, so I'm very grateful.
I love
Yes.
that. I've definitely know of more stories where people say they'll make a spot for you and they try and they can't. So I
I know
love that.
it doesn't always work out. She followed through. And the people mean well too, and a lot of times we bank on what other people say and you end up in a bad position, all that stuff. So yeah, she followed
Yeah.
through. So I've been able to focus my energy into that because it gives me the opportunity to be honest. Well, a lot has happened. I mean, I had this moment of realization that I had not been true to myself when I decided to pursue my career as an attorney. I had not been true to myself. A lot of people don't know going in that they're not going to want to practice. I knew. And I still did it, and I've done it well and everything. So it's a weird place to be in to admit that there was some self-loathing that I was experiencing as a result of not being honest. And I love, like, authenticity is one of my values, and here I am not being honest. So I had to deal with that. And when I did, like, almost immediately I got this offer. Immediately.
I love it. I love it. I've been on a similar path, but I've recently realized that like first you decide and then you get all the clues that you made the right decision. But you have to
Yes,
decide first.
you
And then
do.
it's like it's almost like you would be unaware to it before. But now once you've
Mhm.
decided, you're like, oh, 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 oh.
Hmm.
hmm
Hmm. Yeah, so I mean, it's been a revelation in a lot of ways, and I just feel so grateful. I could never have designed this. And with all
Yeah.
my planning and everything, there's just no way I could have done it. So I get to really lean into both, like literally my right and left brain, and I use education as the vehicle. And so it just is so well aligned and symmetrical and all the stuff that I love. So it's just perfect.
I
I'm so
love
happy.
that.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. So what is it like? Is it freeing to be in a space where your left and right brain are aligned and you get to just come in every day and enjoy both of them?
Okay, I wish that it was freeing right now. It's funny
Okay.
you asked that question because I feel a little bit guilty. I should feel free. My company is actually called To Be Free. Like that's what it's an old name. I called it that because I was working for a corporation that I hated. This was like 11 years ago. And I said this business is going to give me the opportunity to be free at some point. So I went ahead and like started my little side hustle. So now I should be free, but I still have so much imposter syndrome and like unhealed trauma stuff I'm working through. But it's okay because my therapist knows exactly where I am, and like we're on it. So it won't take long. We're gonna do this little last minute stuff, and then
Yeah.
it'll be something else. It's always another challenge for personal growth. But
Yeah.
I'm excited. I feel like I'm starting to get to like self-actualization, in Maslow's hierarchy. I'm starting to get to that esteem and
Yeah.
all that, like past the low level stuff. So it feels good.
I mean, I hope that everyone is listening is celebrating with you because these are not easy things to go through, right? Like self-improvement is, first of all, there's no finish line. And so that part alone makes it really hard.
Really heavy sometimes. Yeah.
It usually is because who would ever say making a decision to go to law school is a bad thing? Oh, you're a lawyer. Oh, life's so hard. But if you are self-loathing, yes, it can be. And you might be in a privileged space, but it doesn't mean that it's not important.
I
Yeah.
mean, I'm a woman of a certain age now, so it's like I know how I want the rest of my life to look, and like knowing how my personality is. If I didn't correct this, it would not be good. Eventually I probably would be sick, tired, bitter, all that stuff, and we're not
Yeah.
doing that. So
We're not doing that. We're being honest. We're being honest. All right. Okay, so Kristyan, the last time we spoke, we were talking about your SMART goals and how you got to set yourself up and how you have to like figure out what you want, but then also, are you still following that? Are you still doing the consulting work?
I am. I mean, when I took this position, we talked about my workload and what's manageable and everything. And I told him I would pull back, right, a little
hmm
bit. And I have been. But because of the times we're living in, a lot of my clients and people I work with have created things that they really want to protect. And that was like my whole point of working with clients is to help them create a business that's sustainable and authentic, right? And
Yeah.
When times get tough, you don't want to lose your baby, for lack of a better metaphor. So I have kept a few people, families that I help, and
Yeah.
I will, but other than that, I think one of my big goals now is just looking forward to retirement stuff and like what that's gonna be. And I
Yeah.
have time to figure it out. So I'm trying to be like more proactive with that, like second
Okay.
half of life type stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So, you're an attorney, you're an educator, you're an artist. What was it like when you sat down and decided, okay, there's a little self-loathing going on, even though I'm successful? I passed the bar, I'm practicing in Texas. Now I moved here to New York and I'm doing all this stuff. What was that like when you finally had to like make that decision? Like, you're a creative person. Just call yourself a creative person.
Oh, well, it was a beautiful setting, actually. I'm gonna just go there mentally because I think it's easier to describe. So my one of my good friends had taken me to a resort for Mother's Day. This was May of 2024, I believe, and had applied and had interviewed a few times for this position. And I admitted to her that because I'm in the Law and Justice Studies department at the university, which sounds very rigid. And I was like, oh no, here I am again committing to something that is feels wrong. And I admitted that to her and I said, the truth is I have a film in my heart. And if I could go back and do it again, I would have considered, staying on my creative, doing dance, doing theater, doing film. And I promise you, she left. She had to go home. We had been there all day, and I sat there by myself. I was drinking a glass of champagne that came with the spa package that I had gotten. And my phone rang, and it was my boss now, boss and mentor. And I was for the first time on the phone with her. I said, I just got through talking to my friend, and I admitted to her, even though this is a great opportunity, I don't think I can take it for two reasons. Number one, I can't afford to live in New York right now with the salary that you're offering me. That was the first thing. Number two, I said, I really would like to lean more into my creative side, and I don't want to continue to support something that's not going to give me peace. And she said, well, funny you say that because that was one of the critiques that they had after your interview was that they didn't know if we had the faculty to support you because we're an art school. And here you are coming in as a lawyer, and we
Right.
want you to be able to be successful. In order to be successful, you need to publish, you need to be doing research, and we need to have the faculty and resources to support it. And we weren't sure. So we started talking and we developed these ideas of that led to this ultimate success. So number two was taken care of because we decided, well, we she already had these contracts to do restorative justice. She just needed a person to do it. And but the housing, right? So guess
Yeah.
what? She said, why don't you ask for housing as a part of your negotiation? Now, whose boss gonna tell them what to ask for?
A great one. But
A
yeah, it doesn't
great one.
happen.
So I asked, and they did. And me and my daughter had the opportunity to I'm a faculty in residence, living on campus for two
Wow.
years, finding and building and refurbishing the home I want to live in as I make tenure at this university, well supported by my boss and the team. And it was because I
Wow.
was vulnerable with first my friend, and it should be easy, but it's not, but then with her, and I'm a person, people have accused me of oversharing. So I had decided I was going to be all corporate and private with them in this
Yeah.
pursuit because I didn't want to mess it up. And as soon as I messed it up, then she was able to share with me and we were able
Yeah.
to see eye to eye. So here we are. So it was hard. I struggled emotionally. I still am dealing with it. Like sometimes it
Yeah.
feels scary. It feels scary, but it's a good fear. I haven't felt this way in a long time since taking the bar. The last time I felt this way was I was taking studying for the bar exam.
Okay.
And
Okay.
it was good. So like I liked studying for the bar. I did. I'm so stupid, but it's like and the LSAT and all that. So
Aw. A couple of things there. I think it's important that you called out that you can be an oversharer but not be vulnerable. Because those can be different
mm,
things. Those can
hmm
be different things, right? You can be talking and talking and talking so people don't ask you the real stuff. So I like that. But then how fascinating that you could get a dream role that you didn't even think existed, but it's scary because you've like stuff's never been this easy. And you're just like, wait, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop, but there is no other shoe. This is just my life now.
There's no other shoe. I can't say it's easy because it's a new
Yeah.
challenge. I feel like you know how when you repot a plant, you take it out, you have to disrupt it and you replant it and it struggles for a little while, then it's like the roots take. So I
Yeah.
feel like that's where I am. Like I'm sitting in a chair that's a little bit too big for me that I have to grow into. And it's great, but that's definitely where I am and it feels
Yeah.
scary, but in a good way.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
like that description. I like that description. Okay. So I'm going to jump ahead a little bit because I want to know what would you say to a law student or young lawyer about what they could do with their law degree? Because you thoroughly enjoy practicing law and you're enjoying where you are now.
Well, I do sometimes speak to and mentor young attorneys every day. Thank God in my role, I get to do pre-law and all this stuff. And with a diverse group of students who are similarly multifaceted, right? And so I get to mentor people who are like me. And I think that what I can tell them is you have to kind of really lean into the assessment part of your personality. Who are you really? Like before you put the lawyer hat or any other hats on, who are you, right? And find that common thread and allow that. You have to get a framework to understand all of the information is getting ready to be given to you, right? So I try to always position people with a framework and give them like a broad view and then you get to fill it in with all that touchy feely like stylistic personality stuff. And as long as you do that and don't let the framework crumble, right? Like the law is going to be fluid. It's way more fluid, and when you release it, then it really can, it's like magical the way that it has set me up, right? But it's because I kind of fell in love with it. I use the law as a tool to maintain some semblance of order in my life. Like I came up in a very chaotic like childhood and stuff, and not necessarily traumatic. It just was a lot of change, very dynamic environment. And so I use the law to like rein it in and to feel secure because like I know the rules, so nobody can get past me. But that's not how it works. But originally, that's what drew me to it. It's like I wanted order, I wanted structure, I wanted to know the game so nobody could keep getting over on me, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's what brought me to it.
Okay. And then I just got to know, what's it like being in New York?
It is cold. I love New York though. No, I just couldn't be anywhere else right now. Like I've different things that are happening in the world that make me think. Like when I lived in DC, I was going to Howard. If I was in DC right now, I would probably be scared.
Yeah.
In New York, we have a strong system in place, and I need that because I would like to focus on my work. I don't want to be worried
Right.
about family safe. And then my friends, I have good friends here who kind of understand what it's like to be challenged to be impactful. Some people get to just go to work, or they don't feel like they need to do anything else. And I always feel like I need to do something when I'm looking and seeing people suffering. So at least
Yeah.
in New York, there are lots of outlets for that. And I know a lot of people don't have those outlets. So I'm grateful to be in a state like this. So,
Yeah. You took the Texas bar. So were
yep,
you
I'm
in
from
Texas for a
Houston.
while? Okay.
I'm from Houston originally, yeah. So after I graduated from law school, I got out in 2008 when the housing crisis took place. That was also a big part of how it would shape my career too, because many of us had offers and stuff that we had out of law school, but over that summer they were rescinding offers. And people were having to give up their leases in Manhattan and all this stuff, and we had to come up with something, right? So I went in-house and started working for a corporation and people had to be creative, and it caused me to find another pathway into what I wanted to do and led me into be doing more transactional and like front of house work. It was an accident again, a crisis actually, but it led
Yeah.
me to where I am. So all good.
Yeah. It sounds like you are extremely resilient, which is good.
I actually help people create these resilient systems in their businesses now because I had to go through it.
Hmm.
My family started a business on accident when we were little too. Like
Yeah.
they wanted to help with prison recidivism. So they were like, oh, we're going to make a nonprofit. And they didn't have any help. So me and my sister helped them create the business. And I was the vice president. I was 14 doing all this paperwork like the 501(c)(3) and all. But I learned about how to run a nonprofit. They were very successful with what they did. We did as a family.
Yeah.
And so, but learning from their mistakes, then I took that and added to my understanding of the law and kind of developed a system that people use that when they work with me, that I think has been very effective.
I love it because you're saying it matter of fact, which is fine, but you didn't have to take these things and do stuff with them, right? You could have been a victim. Oh, I've been working since I was 14. I always got to take a control of stuff, but you didn't. You're like, you're owning it. And maybe that's from therapy, or maybe that's because you know it's all worked out, but it's beautiful to hear.
Thank you. It's both of those and all of those things. I appreciate you saying that, but I say it matter of factly and with fear and trepidation, you know. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I
but
actually I'm rereading the book You Are a Badass, and the author Jen Sincero says, she's like, I just don't know how we don't walk around all day long bursting out in tears because we're like, I can breathe, I can look, I can walk, I can do things. And I feel like your trepidation is like that. You're just like, I can really do anything I want. Oh my gosh, like I can really do
yeah.
anything I want, like,
Yeah.
which is
I mean,
good.
like I just went back to work this week after being off from December 15th or so.
Wow.
And so it's so rested and so reflectful where I get to just go back into the classroom having learned so many lessons and stuff. And I see now why people enjoy this life. But I have also had time for clients. And one of my
Mhm.
clients, they do disaster recovery stuff and they're working in Jamaica and all. And they needed a lot of work from me recently. And I'm just glad, like I have Tuesdays are light. So I just sat down for a few hours and did some stuff. So
Yeah.
it's good.
So this is my favorite kind of episode because we're jumping around all over the place, and I think that life is that way, so I'm with it. You
Okay.
mentioned if you could have done things over, maybe you would have leaned more into the creative side.
Mhm.
What originally drew you to law school, and what did you study in undergrad?
I love talking about this. So, what drew me to law school originally, number one, Claire Huxtable, right? Growing up watching The Cosby Show. Yeah, so that and watching Night Court and stuff, I just saw, I was intrigued. Then I started doing debate. My mom and them like noticed, okay, well, she's kind of into this stuff. So let's see. I started doing debate. We actually had like a children's court program at our town where when the kids got in trouble for like truancy and stuff, we got to decide, how what they had to do, community service or whatever. So I'm an experiential learner, so it stuck with me. Fast forward, I was like, okay, in high school, I did well. I got a full ride to my undergraduate school. People can Google me if they want to find out all this stuff. I don't want to just say all the details, but it's out there in my LinkedIn. So I went to a very large, predominantly white institution, and it was in Oklahoma. I'm from Houston. Why did I choose to go to Oklahoma? Because, the year I came out of high school, they had a Supreme Court decision in Texas for reverse discrimination, where the young lady accused the University of Texas of giving her spot to a minority, and she won. So they stopped doing minority scholarships in the whole state of Texas, and I was like, Deuce, I need this money. So I went to Oklahoma, and I went on an engineering scholarship. And they were like, okay, well, you can get more money if you come as an engineer. Then you could just backdoor as a patent attorney. I was like,
True.
so it was a good idea until it didn't work out. I actually lost my scholarship part of it, but again, an opportunity for growth. I said, I'm going to find a job. I found a job on campus with the programmer analyst for the financial aid office. And she literally was a programmer. So she taught me a little bit of coding while I'm in
Wow.
college, just a work study job. So I did that until I graduated, went to law school. When I was going to law school, I really wanted to make a lot of money. I wanted to be an entertainment attorney and make a killing doing intellectual property and all this stuff. So going to Howard, I was like, all right, I can, network my way into a bunch of stuff. And basically I did essentially, but not the way I thought I would, because that
Yeah.
original job at the law firm that I thought I was going to get, we didn't get, and I had to pivot. And I pivoted in a way that made it where I really have never worked for a firm again since I left the first one,
Okay.
because it just wasn't my lifestyle. And I'm glad it worked out that way.
Yeah. This is so good. So I've already asked you the question I typically ask people at the end, which is your advice for
Mhm.
law students. So
Yeah.
let's do something new. What are you really excited for in the future?
When you asked me that, what came to mind is me and my girls from college are going to the Canary Islands this summer, and I'm so excited. I bought my flight, everything is lined up. So I like to travel. That's always my thing to look forward to. I'm excited about my scholarship. Like I'm doing some research and I'm looking at things that are very innovative and, things that are going to be forward moving both in the industry and also in my creative industries, right? So putting together the technology with the art and trying to move the forward. What we're doing is we're creating a platform for them to be able to do habeas corpus petitions forms in mass using artificial intelligence because we have a lot of people being detained right now and there's not enough staff to do the work right now. There's some people who wouldn't support this type of technical innovation, but for this reason they're willing to move forward. How can you say you don't want to help the people that are being illegally detained? So we're using our pursuit of justice as a tool to advance in other ways, and those are the creative things I get to work on. So I'm excited about that because who's doing that stuff?
I don't know anyone who's doing that. So I think the audience is going to love to hear about it. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. I'll do it anytime.